that is the program can be executed within the CPU only. Initially, the classes that are ready to execute is placed in the ready queue. From that ready queue, the scheduler can select any one process. That process will be executed within the CPU. Suppose that process is not having any IO operation, means execution is completed within the CPU itself and it can be terminated. Okay, if the process is having only user program, like the instructions that are executed within the CPU only, means the processing or execution is completed within the CPU and it will be terminated. Suppose the process is having some IO operation to complete, means in that case it takes this part. Okay, if there is any IO or request is available within the process, means those processes are waiting in the IO queue. If the process needs any IO devices, that process will be waiting in the IO queue. Then, based on the priority or based on the availability of particular IO device, the IO device is allocated for the particular process. Then it completes the IO operation. After completing the IO operation, the process again stored in the ready queue. So why it is stored in the ready queue again? Because the process is having some other instructions to be executed within the CPU. So another that process is stored in the ready queue. Then another one option is if the time slice of the particular process exceeds, that is, if the time allocated for particular process is 50 milliseconds, means for the 50 milliseconds only it is executed within the CPU. If the time exceeds 50 milliseconds, then the process can be removed from the CPU and it is stored in the ready queue again. Okay, this is another one case. Then another one case is if one process creates another one process, that is, one process can call or create another one process using fork system call. Fork system call is used to create a process, that is, one parent process can able to create a child process using fork system call. If this process is created, child process is created, then the child process is executed first. After executing the child process, again the process can be stored in the ready queue for further execution within the CPU. The next case is if there is any interrupt occurs, means it will call the interrupt service routine. After that, after completing the interrupt, again the process will be stored in the ready queue. Okay, these are the techniques in process scheduling. Understand this? Okay, next we are going to discuss about scheduler. Okay, there are three types of scheduler: long-term scheduler, short-term scheduler, and medium-term scheduler. There are three types of schedulers are available. Long-term scheduler, short-term scheduler, and medium-term scheduler. Next, this long-term scheduler is also called as job scheduler. Job scheduler. So, long-term scheduler or job scheduler. This short-term scheduler is also called as CPU scheduler. CPU scheduler. And there is no other name for medium-term scheduler. Okay. ready queue. Okay, the task of long-term scheduler is it will move the jobs or processes that are stored in job queue to ready queue. Okay, from here, suppose this is the job queue. Job queue, and there are many processes that are available in job queue. Okay, we are taking 5 processes, P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. These 5 processes are placed in the job queue. So, long-term scheduler will assign the processes from the job queue to ready queue. This is ready queue. In the ready queue, it cannot load or it cannot store all the processes that are available in the job queue because the memory size is smaller, so you can able to store only small number of processes. Okay. Here, total 5 processes are available in the job queue. From that 5 processes, only 3 processes are loaded in ready queue. So the task of long-term scheduler is it will select some of the processes from the job queue and it is stored in the ready queue. And another one task of long-term scheduler is it will control the multi-programming. What is the multi-programming? Multi-programming. Multi-programming operating system. At a time, it can able to load multiple programs in memory, right? So this in the main memory, we can able to store many programs, right? Not only single program. In the batch operating system, it will support only one program to be loaded into memory for execution. But in the Unix operating system as well as Linux operating system, we can able to store more programs simultaneously in memory for execution. That is called as multi-programming. So to enhance the multi-programming, the long-term scheduler will load many programs into memory for execution. So multi-programming can be controlled by the long-term scheduler. The long-term scheduler can control the multi-programming capability of operating system. Okay, and this will select the process according to two things. One is there are two types of processes available. One is CPU bound process and another one is IO bound process. Can you differentiate what is CPU bound process and what is IO bound process?
CPU bound process happening within the CPU.
CPU bound process means more time of executing the particular process is spent within the CPU. Okay. IO bound process means most of the operations are performed by IO devices. Only limited instructions are executed within the CPU. Understand? So there are two types of processes available: CPU bound process and IO bound process. So when the process is selected by the long-term scheduler, it will select mixing of both CPU bound process as well as IO bound process. It won't select only IO bound process or only CPU bound process. We know the reason why it will select a mixing of CPU bound process and IO bound process. இதனால CPU bound process ஆவே செலக்ட் பண்ணா என்ன ஆகும்? CPU மட்டும் தான் பிஸியா இருக்கும். Always the instructions are executed within the CPU. இந்த IO device எல்லாமே என்ன பண்ணிப்போம்? சும்மா உட்கார்ந்துருக்கும். ஐடலா இருக்கும். Okay. If the long-term scheduler select only IO bound process means always the IO device is busy and executing the program or performing the operation. The CPU sits as idle, right? So to overcome that, when the long-term scheduler select the set of process from the job queue, it will select the process mixing of both CPU bound process as well as IO bound process. Okay. If all the processes are CPU bound process means the CPU is always executing instructions. In that time, IO device